back into that Sean podcast. Is I, the Big Ush, is he, the Cat Daddy. And you know, this is that lullaby time of year. Cat Daddy, what's on your mind?
Man, you're talking lullaby. This has been, I gotta say, it's one of the more quiet weeks that we've experienced during the NFL offseason. We hear rumors of teams being interested in Baker Mayfield, but he's still a Cleveland Brown. Yeah. We have Deshaun Watson's hearing is ended, but it's still going to be about another week or so, maybe 2 weeks until we have any decision on potential punishment coming down from the league.
That's so weird to me.
I know. I guess this week all we have to talk about is Stranger Things, right?
No.
No? Yes, we got some stuff for you. We still got some football related stuff because today we're going to talk about which teams we think can go from worst to first in their division.
All right.
That was a fun exercise. That was a fun one.
So
I think you called it Fool's Gold. Is that what you labeled it?
Yes.
Yep.
Was that you? Whoever did is a genius.
No, that was probably you then. Yeah.
Anyways, we're going to start with the AFC because I think the AFC is going to spark a little bit more debate because we agree the AFC is easier to go from worst to first. And now, we're not going to make this super easy all the way. So, this is how it's going to go, people. The Big Ush, myself, and Cat Daddy over here, we're going to pick our teams in each conference that could go from worst to first in their division. Then we're going to talk about how the other teams in those respective divisions could possibly have a pathway to go from worst to first. It's going to be a task. Anyways, without further ado, I'm going to let Mr. Cat Daddy start and pick his team in the AFC who can go from worst to first.
The team I think most likely to go from worst to first is the AFC North Baltimore Ravens.
Ooh.
And that's who I got.
And why, sir?
All right. Now, I know some people are probably thinking, but they had the same record as Cleveland last year. Should they really be part of this conversation? And I'm going to say yes, because based on the standings, I think the tiebreakers put Baltimore in last place. So when we're looking at the rest of the AFC North teams, Cleveland's success is going to be more or less contingent on who plays quarterback this year. So I would not expect them to be a playoff caliber team unless Deshaun Watson starts just about every game. So for the Pittsburgh Steelers, they have a new era of quarterback. This is really going to be the first time that they're putting any quarterback out there besides Ben Roethlisberger for the last, 15, 20 years? It's been a long time since Pittsburgh had another quarterback, and they're not even sure who's going to be starting for them this year.
Yes,
all signs are looking at Mitch Trubisky starting.
It's going to be Mitchell Trubisky.
Yeah, we don't know how long it's going to last. We don't know.
I'm sorry.
There's a lot unknown.
No, you sparked it for me. I'm sorry, but Mitch Trubisky has a better arm. He also has more athleticism than Kenny Pickett. I don't get this. I really don't get, and he's got bigger hands, but I don't get this. I really don't get this. Like, someone explain this to me other than, I get it. He was a first round pick, but don't get hung up on that. You need to win games. I get it. Mike Tomlin has longevity. He has time, but you need to win games.
Slight question. I think I know who the favorite to win is, and I think we share that same opinion, but I don't think Pittsburgh is going to be a playoff caliber team.
I think they can be, but the problem is the AFC has gotten immensely better. And the AFC North, because I agree with you. I agree Baltimore can go from worst to first. Want to know my reasoning why I'd say it? Since I'm going to answer one of the questions already since we're on Baltimore. first part of it is, how many injuries did Baltimore have last year, including Lamar Jackson? And yes, Lamar Jackson made some poor decisions, but at the same time, I think Rashad Bateman's going to be a better year 2 receiver, hopefully healthy. So there's that. They've brought in more tight end talent, and we know Lamar can play well with the tight end talent. Hopefully J.K. Dobbins comes back healthy. You really want him to. But in terms, because that is an extremely talented runner that was there. The offensive line got reshaped a little bit. The secondary will have a bunch of guys coming back healthy and an influx of talent. Not to mention, I mean, there's our guy, Kyle Hamilton, who, you know, will make an impact on this team. I'm sorry, like, I think this team has a very good chance. And with those cornerbacks, I mean, the top team in this division right now is Cincinnati. Then you look at Pittsburgh. Both of those teams are built with that passing game. So if those corners come back and can lock those guys down, Baltimore has a great track to be in that team, especially if Bateman makes the leap that both you and I think he can. Did I make your argument for you?
Yep.
Anything you want to add?
Here. I'll just sit over here.
Anything you want to add to that?
Nope.
Come back, because you're probably going to make my argument on the next one. So, my team is the Denver Broncos. What do you think of this one, Cat Daddy?
They were the team I had as the second most likely to go from worst to first.
And I'll let you steal my thunder here. What is the most important reason why they have the potential to go from worst to first?
Well, they have a new quarterback, and it's not just a good quarterback. They now have a quarterback with playoff experience, with Super Bowl experience. But the reason I had the Broncos as number 2 is because they face some challenges going from worst to first. Because
their division is much better.
It starts with you have a first-time head coach, a first-time offensive coordinator, and a first-time defensive coordinator. Over the last 5 years, only 7 of the 26 rookie head coaches have gone to the playoffs. That's about a quarter of them. So that doesn't mean that they're going to win the division. That's just making the playoffs. And this offseason, we saw that coaching carousel go wild with 10 new head coaches, 5 of which are rookie head coaches. So we're thinking maybe 1 or 2, based on recent trends, are going to make the playoffs. They have a quarterback now. They have a playoff-ready defense, I think. Mm-hmm. We just need to see what it looks like with a new defensive coordinator, because Vic Fangio, he was known for the defense. His teams may have stalled offensively, but defensively, they were a really good unit that could compete for the playoffs. And they added smaller pieces to the offensive line. I don't think they did as much for the offensive line as I thought they should have, but there are some minor improvements there. And you have good wide receiver core, and you have a solid running back duo with Javonte Williams and Melvin Gordon. So I give them the second best odds of being able to go from worst to first.
So I'm going to add a little bit here. First, I'm going to add, and I'm going to make it hard for you to refute. So as you said, there's only, a few rookie head coaches that that make the playoffs. Well, one of those rookie head coaches was up there in Green Bay.
Sure was. Mike LaFleur.
Nick
Sirianni last year.
And the Denver new head coach. I'm just wondering, where did he come from?
came from Green Bay, just like the offensive coordinator. Defensive coordinator comes from the Rams, so on paper it looks good, but you're having
I know.
3 new people. You're having those 3 positions are all first timers.
I know.
That's a little tough.
I know, but I'm looking at this because I mean both of us really do like Nathaniel
Hackett.
Yes. We both really like. I was just calling him by his first name like I knew him.
He's just sitting right next to you. Yeah.
Both of us really like him. And here's the thing. I get what you said about the offensive line. You know the funniest thing about that is Denver's offensive line is still better than Seattle's was. You want to know something else that's funny?
Might be. The one that Russell played with, it might be.
Want to know else that's funny? No. I'm not saying this current Seattle. Seattle all of a sudden decided to fix their offensive line once Russell walked out the door. But
they had that nice number 9 pick thanks to the trade. I mean, you can't pass up Charles Cross at that spot.
But they drafted another offensive lineman later. It's just like, yeah, let's just load up on offensive linemen. Anyways, the other funny thing is these receivers are different. Russell had to buy time. And here's the thing. I'm not trying to knock Tyler Lockett. I'm not trying to knock DK Metcalf. But Russell had to buy time for those guys to get open downfield. These guys here, Tim Patrick, even Cortland Sutton, who is the downfield guy, but especially Jerry Jeudy, and then the tight ends they have on these guys are get open quickly. Give me the ball, I take the ball upfield. Russell's going to get so comfortable doing that. And then you've got Javonte Williams.
And Melvin Gordon.
You know, let me just toss you the ball here and you take it 50 yards. It's such a QB friendly, and you have that Green Bay style of offense, which is that get your playmakers the ball in space and let them do the work. I mean, it's so QB friendly. I think Russell's going to feast in this. I really do. And
he should be cooking a lot more in Denver.
The only thing that's going to hold him back is the Chargers have an insane defense at the moment. The Raiders defense got a lot better. The Chiefs defense is looking a lot better. He is in a difficult division.
And all of the offenses for their division rivals have all improved as well.
Indeed.
So that's going to be another hard part is not only do you have rookie head coaches for the head coach, offense, defense, but now you're in arguably the toughest division in football.
Right. Indeed.
Yeah.
Where you're right, Baltimore, two of the teams have a lot of uncertainty around them. Can Cleveland win with Baker Mayfield? Yes. Will they if Deshaun Watson is suspended? That remains to be seen. They got to get on the same page before that can even happen. Now, that brings us to the next portion. We will finish off the AFC here. Which do you want to start with? The AFC South with the Jacksonville Jaguars or the AFC East with the New York Jets?
Do we want to go least likely to win their division? Or do you want to save that one for last?
I'm going to let you pick on this one.
All right, we'll go in order. Because we did most likely. And then
So
we
the
worked our way
Jets are
down.
out.
So we're going to the Jets next, yeah. AFC East. But
I don't know. Don't these teams probably have the same amount of odds, considering the Jets have the Bills in their division and the Jaguars, yes, we both agree, are considerably worse, but their division is considerably worse.
the Jets are in the harder division, but I still think they would be more likely to win the division than the Jaguars would be. That's just my opinion. For the Jets, they had a really good offseason between the draft, between free agency. They made some really good moves to improve their roster, improve the organization. And when you look at all the position groups, I think that they either improved or they stayed about the same at all levels. I don't think there was one position group where you can look at and say, well, they got worse at that position this offseason.
Oh no, the Jets improved.
They did, yeah. But are they ready to compete for the AFC East crown? No.
Absolutely not.
Not yet. They still have some work to do. They still have to get past Buffalo. They have to get past New England. They even have to get past Miami. However, I felt similar about the Cincinnati Bengals last year, thinking they weren't ready yet. They needed maybe one more season to get to playoff mode. And look how that turned out.
I felt better about Cincinnati than I do the Jets right now.
A lot of their success will come down to how well Zach Wilson develops this season. They've given him the pieces that he needs to make that second-year leap. Question for him is going to be, can you put it all together on a consistent basis?
I think it's more than that, though, because you mentioned Cincinnati. So that means Zach Wilson has to develop. But on top of that, Garrett Wilson, and all the Wilson, but Garrett Wilson has to have a Jamar Chase-like rookie season. Then they need another player there, maybe Elijah Moore, to step up and be that Tyler Boyd. You know, maybe Breece Hall steps up and he becomes that Joe Mixon. You know, they need things to happen. They need that breakout tight end. And then that defense, name one star on that defense. I think they just drafted one, didn't they?
They drafted Sauce Gardner. Yep. So they drafted one.
But I mean,
they
before
drafted
Sauce,
Jermaine Johnson. So that's the second one.
But before any, what veteran are you looking to? What, C.J. Mosley?
C.J. Mosley surprised last year. Carl Lawson missed the season with a preseason injury. And then secondary, they don't have Marcus May anymore, do they?
Nope.
No. He went to, was it New Orleans?
Yes. No, Marcus May?
Yeah.
Yeah, he went to New Orleans, and Marcus Williams went to the Ravens.
Baltimore, yeah.
But you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, I think the defense that Cincinnati had was at a better starting point than what the Jets are right now.
Yes, they. And then, I mean, Logan Wilson, who was just a revelation?
Yeah. Linebacker, yep.
So, all right, so here's what I think the Jets need. They need Zach Wilson to turn into a stud. It is their only path. The defense is not going to get it done. Zach Wilson needs to have that, I mean, let's keep it in division, that Josh Allen leap. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The question is, will we see that?
He's got the pieces in place.
Now we'll go down south, and we will really see Cat Daddy squirm here. And we're going to go to the Jacksonville Jaguars. First thing we need, I'm going to start this one off. First thing we need is we need Trevor Lawrence to look like the ungodly stud that he looked like in college. Second thing we need is... Can't even say it. I can't say it. We need Christian Kirk to become a number one wide receiver, like a legit...
Like he's being paid. Yeah.
Woo! I'm sorry. I don't mean to laugh. It's stupid. Anyways, then we need Travis Etienne, who's been looking good in his workouts, to come back and be, again, the guy he was in college. You know, that home run threat, that LaDainian Tomlinson, with my quotation marks out, that LaDainian Tomlinson type dual threat that they thought they were getting when they had he who will not be named as their head coach. And then they need that defense to look insane with their 50 billion linebackers and their amazingly athletic pass rushers who have done nothing.
Yeah, all the people they paid this offseason, they need them to play up to their wage. Yes, they need. Because the AFC South is still, it's got to be the weakest division in football. And the Jaguars roster is still not good.
Well, let's look at this. Did the Tennessee Titans get better?
No.
No. Did they get worse?
Yes.
Because they didn't stay stagnant. The Houston Texans, do you believe in them?
Not this year.
No. And you need to see a lot more from Davis Mills. I mean, I'm all good with seeing Santa Lovia on Sundays. I don't know why do people not like Lovie Smith? I love Lovie Smith. Give Lovie a job. I love it. Yeah, I keep Lovie on the sidelines, especially with that beard. And then Indianapolis, did they really get better with Matt Ryan? And if they did, how much?
I think the Colts did get better with Matt Ryan, and I think the division's ultimately going to come down to the Colts and the Titans. And with the changes that the Titans have gone through, I would give an edge to the Colts right now to win the division.
But on top of that, let's not forget the Colts lost their defensive coordinator. What is this defense going to be like this year? All right. Any more thoughts on the AFC?
Nope.
All right, let's move on to the difficult one. Those was the easy ones, folks. Let's move on to the NFC. And this time I will start. God, why am I starting? And the team I selected was the Detroit Lions. And the Detroit Lions' pathway to becoming worse the first is Jared Goff figures out that he was the first overall pick and he turns into the stud that some people somewhere thought he would be. Amon-Ra St. Brown, it still continues his upward ascending, where Jameson Williams comes back early enough to make an impact early on and is also a stud, complementing their running game in Hawkinson. Also, their defensive changes are enough to make this defense at least middle of the pack. That's how they get there. I don't think they do, but that's how they get there.
The team plays hard for Dan Campbell. And how does a Dan Campbell team win? They win in the trenches. They've made improvements to the offensive line. They've made improvements to the defensive line. So I think they're trying to control the line of scrimmage, and that's going to be the key for them. This is a team that, as it adds more talent, they will get better, and that's not always the case. We've seen teams add talent, but on the field it doesn't come to any fruition. I think for Detroit, it will. They have DeAndre Swift, TJ Hawkinson, Tyrell Williams. They'll all be returning healthy this season. They have another year of the Jared Goff to Amon-Ra St. Brown connection. Jameson Williams' in-season debut will occur. And they've improved the defense led by Aiden Hutchinson. Do I see the Lions winning the division this year?
Absolutely not.
No. But I can.
Well, there's one name.
There is a world where I can see them making the playoffs as a wild card.
There's one name that says they won't make it. I'm just saying. There's one name that says they won't win the division. Just one name.
Who's that?
Well, first name starts with an A. Last name starts with an R.
Green Bay Packer wide receiver Amari Rodgers. I see what you're doing. Yeah.
Sure. All right, next up.
Yeah.
Let's hear your team.
And the NFC was much, much harder because it's like we really got to come up with some scenarios to get these teams to first place. So the team I thought that had the best opportunity to do that would be the New York Football playing Giants.
You don't really believe that.
In the NFC, as a team, I think has the best chance to do it. So, how do the Giants win the division? First, they need the Washington Football Team to for all 17 games. That's they need. Second, they need the Jalen Hurts experience to suffer a massive regression, forcing them to start Gardner Minshew. Third, they need the Cowboys offense to stall because the wide receiver unit doesn't step up as expected.
They need Dak to break his leg.
And Kellen Moore / Mike McCarthy cannot adjust their play calling accordingly.
They need Dak to break his ankle again. That's what they need. It's the only way it's going to help them.
I didn't want to have any injuries thrown in there. I wanted to keep this no bad karma out there.
Okay. They need Dak to get mono. Uh-oh. Where'd he go? Still there?
I'm still here. Are you still there?
Yes, you disappeared for a second. We're going to leave that in the pod. I said they need Dak to get mono.
Well, you're putting out there into the universe. I'm not. So that's all.
Oh, no, it's not going to happen. Dak's a beast. He's not Sam Darnold.
And fourth, they need Daniel Jones to have a career year. And if there was any time for a career year, the stars are lined up for him to do it this year because he's going to be healthy. Saquon Barkley will be healthy. The offensive line is improved. It'll be another season with the wide receiver, so we can build on that rapport. And they have Brian Daboll, who coached Josh Allen in Buffalo, and they have Mike Kafka, who coached Pat Mahomes in Kansas City. These are huge upgrades over the combination, over the duo of Joe Judge and Jason Garrett. Their offense improves, and that's how they get to the playoffs. Let's just not think about the defense that probably regressed a little bit this offseason.
All right, here's the problem with the Giants. So what they need, really, their defensive front seven is actually pretty good, but their secondary is absolute doo-doo. So with that said, they need whoever the young players in that secondary, they need them to step up. Number two, they need Daniel Jones to play like he's a different player than what he is. They need Saquon to get a resurgence and not be Saquon. And what I mean by that is, have you noticed what Saquon Barkley is? Saquon Barkley is a player that'll get you, let's say, 60 yards twice a game, and then the rest of the game, he'll get you about 10. You notice
as long as he avoids any freak injuries, that's what they need from Saquon.
Just two big runs and then a lot of in the backfield. He's like literally the anti-Barry Sanders.
How much of that is to blame on the offensive line he's been playing with the past couple of years?
No. What I'm talking about is he shuffles his feet a lot. Saquon. Here's the problem with Saquon. Saquon is always looking for the home run. Always looking for the home run, and sometimes you just gotta get them dirty yards.
He needs to learn how to do that.
Right. So if he gets to be an overall back without getting injured. I mean, here's the thing. I think New York is actually a better overall team than the Washington, whatever they're called.
Football team, yes.
But yes, they need the Eagles and the Cowboys to fumble on something here. All right, next up, we're going to go down to Carolina.
So we agree. We agree on this one. Yeah.
You already knew that was coming. So first thing they need is Tom Brady to slip on the banana peel. I mean, they need Sam Darnold. They need Sam Darnold to not be good, and they need Matt Corral to look otherworldly. And they need Matt Corral to come in to use his athleticism and his ability and to pick up the playbook and get the footwork down so that he can establish a rapport with DJ Moore. And they need Christian McCaffrey to stay healthy. But along with this,
that is number one.
Along with this, they also need Tom Brady to play like he's 40. They also need, well, I don't think they really need anything out of Atlanta. They're going to be what they are. And then they're going to need Jameis Winston to be part of the 30 for 30 club again. And they'll need those young players in that secondary to step up like they possibly can. And I mean, maybe we'll see something. What do you think?
What have the Carolina Panthers looked like under the Matt Rule era?
Inconsistent.
They have a pretty good defense, and the offense stalls due to quarterback play or an injured Christian McCaffrey. And it doesn't seem like any of those are Joe Brady's faults, but he gets fired, and I digress. Is there anything that's going to change this season for Carolina? With some of the offseason moves, I think the defense stays about the same, but the offense improved, especially the offensive line. I mean, they had that slam dunk, no-brainer pick with Ikem Ekwonu in the first round, and that immediately improves our offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
Christian McCaffrey. I know. Christian McCaffrey is expected back healthy, and they need him to be the dual threat who can fight for 1,000 yards on the ground and 1,000 yards through the air. I know I was getting to that part last. But it doesn't matter who's quarterback if Christian McCaffrey isn't healthy for 17 games.
I think it does.
I don't think it does. You need Christian McCaffrey because the offense moves with him.
It does, but I'm just saying, if Matt Corral is the quarterback, his ability to run helps that team. I don't believe in Sam Darnold at all after what I saw last year.
It's hard. It's hard because you look at this Carolina team, and if everything lines up, if the defense plays just as well, if not better than last year, if the offensive line improves, if Christian McCaffrey returns to all-pro form, will they still be stuck in neutral due to the quarterback play?
And the quarterback play doesn't have to be great. DJ Moore, do you have to get it downfield?
Just a little bit, not much, but just a little bit. We've seen that Sam Darnold is not the answer, and for this year, I don't think it's going to be Matt Corral either, but they need one of those two to step up.
Yes, they do. It will be interesting. All right, moving on. Oh, I'm going to let you take it because I'm going to laugh if I try to say what I want to say here. Say if the Seattle Seahawks are going to make it. I'm going to let you say it because I can't get it out without snickering.
As it is right now, I think Seattle's in a rebuild process. And if you tell me at the end of the season that Seahawks are the division winners with Drew Lock and or Geno Smith, then I would think that you're just absolutely bonkers. Now, if they acquired somebody like a Jimmy G, Baker Mayfield, if they can persuade Drew Brees to come out of retirement, then their odds would improve. But thanks to the Russell Wilson trade, they have some good young talent to build around. But until they get a quarterback, I think their offense is going to continue to stall. When you're looking at the other teams in the division, San Francisco could fall out of playoff contention just based on who's quarterbacking. Is it Jimmy G? Is it Trey Lance? How well do they do this year? So that's a little question mark. Arizona, they're typically a team that starts off well but finishes the season on a lousy note.
And they've got a tough beginning of this season.
And the first month, 2 months is going to be a little difficult for them, so we may not see that hot start that we're normally accustomed to seeing from the Arizona Cardinals. The team that I think will play well would be Los Angeles Rams. They keep building somehow. They keep spending money. I think they print their own money, but we'll digress on that point because we've talked about that before. But in order for them to jump past the Rams, I think they would just need an epic collapse of
biblical proportions.
Yeah, from the Rams. They would need Matthew Stafford to kind of be that playoff version where he just throws the ball downfield because he thinks the wide receiver's down there and doesn't use good judgments. They need Cooper Kupp to somehow forget how to run routes. They need Aaron Donald to retire before the season starts because he's already got his championship and he's got nothing left. So
they need Jalen Ramsey to get called for defensive pass interference. All right. So, any more to say about the NFC?
No, not the NFC.
So, one thing I've noticed here, the NFC is very top heavy. They're top loaded and bottom, like the top, like the good teams you can see are good, and the bad teams you can see are bad. Where the AFC has a little bit more nuance to it. Now, my question is this: is that make it an easier path for an NFC team to make the playoffs and possibly, be not, let's say, not have as much attrition in terms of playing as compared to an AFC team?
You're right when you're saying that the NFC is very top heavy, and I wouldn't be surprised to see most, if not all, of the same playoff teams return for the NFC because that's just how top heavy it is.
Well, I've got one playoff team that's I think is gonna make it this particular year. I'm
Detroit's. Yep, we talked about them.
No, I've got the Saints making the playoffs and that's possibly pushing out either Arizona or San Francisco.
Yeah, but it's very possible that we see more than half of the playoff teams for the NFC. So at least 4. It's very possible that we see at least 4 repeat teams from last year.
Yeah, because I've got the Cowboys, Eagles, Packers, Tampa, Saints, Rams, and honestly, that 7th team, I don't know.
I wonder if the NFC being top heavy has anything to do with the recent free agency, because you've seen a lot of talent go to the AFC, and that's
True.
making the AFC deeper talent-wise within the division. Because, for example, you look at the AFC West, it's the toughest division, and you can reasonably see ways where at least, I mean, not at least, but you can see a way where 3 of those teams make the playoffs this year.
But then you look at the AFC North, the Bengals, Steelers. I mean, I could see a reasonable case for any of the teams of the AFC North making the playoffs. A reasonable case.
I think one of the only divisions that you cannot say that for would be the AFC South. Yeah.
South.
But the other 3 divisions, like, there's a way.
With the exception of the Jets, we don't really believe in the Jets. But like Miami, New England, Buffalo, I could see any of those teams making it. Even though I'm down on New England this year. But the South, yeah, it's Tennessee or Indianapolis. It's not both. It's one or the other.
Yeah, I agree with that.
All right. Any more thoughts on divisions and any of that this week?
No, you dropped your playoff teams. I'm going to have to think of what teams I predict to be in the playoffs. I'll share that next week.
True. Yeah, I know. I put the little nugget out there for free.
Yeah.
I mean, everything's for free, but you get what I'm saying. I didn't make the people wait. All right. Well, words of wisdom time, my guy.
Words of wisdom. No spoilers for Stranger Things for those who haven't seen it yet. And, man, I said this before. Be kind. What are we doing? Be kind.
Words of wisdom. Eat fresh fruit.